coming back in the series ever again. Additionally, I think it's probably a character who we think is dead reappearing and leaving us in shock. In this video, we're going to talk about the possibility of Rhaegar Targaryen coming back in the series finale. We're going to talk about Rhaegar Targaryen is alive theory. Rhaegar Targaryen, the son of the Mad King, brother of Dany and father of Jon Snow, basically one of the most important characters in Game of Thrones history, is not dead, but is rather alive and well, and is one of the faceless men of Braavos. That's the theory I'm going to introduce you with in this video. When you look at it, Rhaegar Targaryen and Jaqen H'ghar have a lot of similarities. Fans mostly point to the fact that both of them share the same grace and have the same long wavy hair. If Jaqen does indeed turn out to be Rhaegar, the silvery streak in his hair would not be the only indication, as there are many more clues in both the books and the show series. I know that at first glance this might sound impossible or even ridiculous, but I highly suggest you to hear out all the clues and some kind of proof that's going in favor to this theory. Let's start from the very beginning, from Rhaegar's alleged death. The story says Prince Rhaegar met Lord Robert Baratheon in combat at a ford during the Battle of the Trident, where the pair had a legendary duel in the raging rivers of the Trident. Rhaegar, despite wounding Robert, was struck down with a massive blow from Robert's warhammer, which scattered the rubies encrusted in Rhaegar's armor under the water. It's said that rubies flew like drops of blood from the chest of a dying prince, and he sank to his knees in the water, and with his last breath murmured the woman's name. While Rhaegar lay dead in the stream, soldiers saw both armies scrabbled in the water to search for the rubies. Later, the location was named the Ruby Ford. According to a semi-canon source, Rhaegar's body was cremated, as is traditional for fallen Targaryens. Let's firstly point out the obvious. It's especially highlighted that Rhaegar wore his iconic night black plate armor with the three-headed dragon of House Targaryen decorated in rubies on its breastplate. Additionally, the ford in which this battle took place is named for the rubies that were knocked from Prince Rhaegar's breastplate. Now, why is it so important for George R. R. Martin as well as for the showrunners to make it very clear that Rhaegar wore his iconic armor that had rubies attached to it? Why so much focus on Rhaegar's rubies? Why is it such a big plot point and subject brought up whenever the Battle of the Trident or Rhaegar are brought up? The first theory would be that Robert did not fight Rhaegar, but rather someone else who had glamored himself in the form of Rhaegar using rubies. As it was confirmed in the 6th season, rubies can be used to glamour its owners into a form or person they want to be. Melisandre uses it to hide her true form of an extremely old woman. In the books, Mance Rayder glamored to appear as Rattleshirt via the ruby in his wrist cuff. The power in rubies is something called glamour, where you can basically use them with the power of Lord of Light to project a different image of yourself. If Melisandre and Mance can use it, it's most certainly not out of the realm of possibilities that someone had glamoured himself into the form of Rhaegar using these same rubies, and sacrificed his life for beloved prince. The other theory that is also supported with quite a bit of clues says that someone else died instead of Rhaegar, wearing his iconic armor. Remember that in the books, because he had been covered from head to toe in armor, Dany did not see his face in the vision. What I'm proposing in both theories is that Rhaegar never died on the Trident, and that he's the faceless man that we know as Jaqen H'ghar. In both theories, Rhaegar also never actually fought Robert. While in the first one it was someone else who used rubies to glamour himself in the form of Rhaegar, in the second one it was simply one of the Kingsguard members who fought Robert, dressed up in Rhaegar's full armor. Throughout the books we have been given more than a few major examples of an ordinary fighter wearing his hero's armor to sacrifice his life for him and his cause. In A Clash of Kings, Rodrik Cassel attempted to put an end to Ramsay and his atrocities. Rodrik's party comes across Ramsay during one of his hunting trips, but Ramsay is able to survive by switching clothes with his personal servant, who is then killed in his place. Basically, Ramsay gave him his clothes and markings of identity, whereupon Rodrik's men killed that servant believing him to be Ramsay. Another example can be found in the last fight between Robert Royce, the last of Bronze Kings, and Artis Saryn, the founder of House Saryn. It says it was dusk when Artis and his Andal army finally appeared. But even in that fading light, Robert Royce did not fail to mark their leader. His silvered armor and winged helm made the Falcon Knight unmistakable, even from afar. After the first 6 charges against Robert's line failed, Artis' falcon-shaped helmet appeared in the heat of the battle. Robert charged at him in the hope that the Andal army would dissolve if their ruler was killed. There we had 2 legendary heroes meeting and fighting in a duel, except for a fact one of them was just an ordinary knight. Robert beheaded the Falcon Knight after a duel, only to see 500 fresh Andal Knights charging at him with Artis Saryn at their head. Cunning even more than brute force, Artis had clad one of his knights in his